I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to be this Langley Lynx reel, and I picked this one up at an estate sale, and this is a model number 995, and it is completely frozen up. It does not move. So what I'm going to do to see about taking this thing apart is I'm going to drop it into my parts cleaner with some pine sol and some palm olive, and at 130 degrees, and let it soak there for a while and see if things don't come apart a little better. And I don't want to break anything, so I want to give it a chance to soften everything up and maybe start turning again. The top does spin off, but that's it. The rest of it is frozen and doesn't want to move. So I'm going to take it. I guess I can, well, yeah, I'm going to leave the top off of it, and I'm just going to sit it in there like this. And we'll see if we can't get it cleaned up. The button goes in. There we go. Got the spinner head will go up, but that's it. The rest of it does not move. So we're going to soak this thing a while. I'm hoping that the back of this comes off. I have a feeling I have to take this screw out for that to happen. But I don't want, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and take that screw out right now and see if that allows us to take the back off of this reel. Feels like it does. It certainly feels like it does. There we go. Okay, so that's the back off of the reel. And there we go. This looks very much like, as far as the gear, like that gear that was in that Martin, something Matic, Miracle Matic that I did. And yeah, it doesn't want to move beyond that. So, but aside from that, the reel actually looks pretty good inside. So we're going to put it into soak for a while, and hopefully when I come back, it's going to be ready for us to do something with. I have a feeling this whole piece here is going to come out, but it may be riveted in. But I need to go back out there on, there's an article by a guy named, I think his name was Timmy, on Fishing Talks, and he talks about how to, he took this thing apart. I said, see, that's an anti-reverse right there, and I'm sure that's just a pin that you push out there. But I'm gonna put this into soak before I go taking it any further apart, because if nothing else, it's gonna help me remember how everything comes apart, but to be closer to the time frame that it happened. So let's go put this in the soak, and when I come back, it will, I don't know, I'll let you know how long I let it soak. All right, I'm back, and it's out of the cleaner. And one of the things I want to do is unscrew the spinner head, but it is not unscrewing off of the shaft. It's turning the drag in here instead, and I can't get the drag tight enough to hold it. So I believe what we're going to do, first thing we're going to do is try to take this button off, and I believe that I can take that button off by simply driving this pin out right here. And problem is you can't really see it on camera very well. And I'm trying to figure out a way to hold it so that you can see it. And okay, I went part way out. Okay, we're making progress coming out. I don't really want to grab it with anything. I'm afraid of chewing it up. So let's try it again. Let's see where we're at. Yep. There we go. Okay. I think it's far enough out to be able to work it out. Nope. It's still holding tight. So, and we go again. And the pin should be out now at that point. This is interesting. It has a wire around pin. Oh, yeah. I believe, folks, that that is a spring. And I bet that is for this anti-reverse. So I'm going to very gently take that out, have a look at it. Yeah, no, I think that is not the way that's supposed to look. I will try to take a look at the illustrated parts breakdown and see what that's supposed to look like. Okay, there's your anti-reverse. It goes in here and it rides right there. Actually, it goes over here like that. Okay, so that's out. The anti-reverse is out. There's the button out. Now that should give me room to get into here to work. And as Jim Jones said, this is like the tiniest C-clip I've ever seen. Right there. And he warned about it taking off if you're not careful. And so I'm gonna pull the spring down here and see if I can get hold of that. I did. There it is. Let's see if I can get it in the picture. There it is. That's the guy. Okay, we're going to set it over there so it doesn't get lost. Then we'll take this spring off. And this is not, I don't believe, the way this should come apart, but this is the way we're having to take it apart because this shaft won't unscrew out of here. All right, now here's what I see as a problem. All right, I believe that there's something missing because there are no pins sticking out of the side of this to catch the line. See where the line used to ride right here? There should have been a pin right there, and this isn't there. So I don't believe that this reel is complete. I think we're missing a part. I will have to take a look and see what I find, but I believe we are missing a part. Okay, this is flat here, so I'm going to try to grab hold of that now on the flat and see if I can unscrew this. There we go. That got that unscrewed. Okay, that's the axle shaft off of the spinner head, and I'm going to go take a look at the spinner head and see what I can find. All right, when I look at the pictures, there's actually supposed to be two pieces that go inside this spinner head. One is a spring, and the other one is an arm that's supposed to fit in here, and they're not there. And if I am correct, it looks like there's a hole right there. Yeah, there's a little tiny hole right there. Yeah, see that? That piece is supposed to fit through, and I believe there probably is supposed to be two of them. No, there's only one. I only see one hole. There's two holes in the spinner head, though. Yeah, there was never one on this side. I have enough old spinner heads laying around that I might be able to come up with something for this. So I might be able to fix this. If I can get a good picture of what one's supposed to look like, maybe I can come up with a repair for this. Okay. Okay. Now, don't believe that this is going to unhook out of here just yet. With that out, there's a washer in here, and there is the gear. There's the gear. Okay. And Jim said something about having difficulty getting this piece to come out, and right now it does not want to come out because it is attached right there. Okay, so how do we go about figuring out how to take that apart? I believe what we're going to have to do is unscrew the drag nut like so. That's our drag adjuster. All right. Then the handle. Then this tension washer. All right. Then this big washer, and it's got a cup side. The cup side goes out. All right, what do we got here? We've got what appears to be another C-clip. See if I'm right about that. May not be. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, that will go in like that. I believe that we have a sleeve right here that has to slide backwards. I wonder if this piece screws into that. Okay. I think we'll need to hold this in place and see if we can get this handle to unscrew. No, it does not. Okay. Is there a way to hold the center and get it to unscrew? So far I'm batting 0. All right, let me go look at the illustrated parts breakdown again. All right, it took me a little bit, but I think I got this figured out. All right, I'm gonna have to grab hold of this sleeve in here. And the problem is this sleeve was stuck to this center shaft, and I finally got it freed up. And if you grab hold of it, there, you can pull out that sleeve, okay, like that. All right, once you've done that, then this up here will now move, and you can slide this back, and now we should be able to get this oscillating contraption here past the pin, which I got it to go one way, now I got to get it to go back the other way. Yeah, let's slide this up all the way. See if we can get this rotated around, and you kind of got to finagle it a little bit. There we go. Got it past the one side. Now I got to take it over to the other side and get it to go past that side. Oh, it's over there. And it's not real easy to get it to do that. And I think normally you wouldn't even need to do this for anything short of an absolute total teardown of this. Okay, now we've got both sides of that passed. Now we just got to get it past the gear. Let's see, we got that back in there as far as it will go. And there we go. Popped it out. All right, so there's that arm out. That was not easy, folks. Okay, now with that out, we should be able to slide our crankshaft out. Slide it out forward like this. There we go. And my spring just popped loose inside my pliers here. Let me fix that. Yeah, I've got my thumb in there on it. All right, got that out. Now with that out, we should be, there we go, lift those 2 gears out. There we go. And remember, this one has to go in like that for the anti-reverse. Okay, so that it can roll forward like this past the anti-reverse. When it backs up, it's going to catch on the claw like that. All right, so that's how you remember how it goes. Okay, we got that out. I don't know that it would ever be necessary to take it any further than what we have it here. don't know that this piece will come off of here. Oh, wait a minute. Does this pop off? Not with this foot in. Okay. So does the foot pop out? All right, now I'm afraid we're not going to be able to go any further with this, or much further anyway, without verifying what the inside of this spinner cap looks like, spinner head. So I'm going to see if I can find somebody who's got a picture of the inside of that so I can see what one's supposed to look like, and maybe I can cobble up something to replace that with. So Jim Jones was able to send me a picture of what this piece should look like. Here it is. And with that, I was able to take another spinner head that I had from something else, which I have no idea what it was. I've got a whole lot of spare parts laying around here. And the pin was too big in diameter, so I put it on my wood lathe and I turned it down using my Dremel tool. So I spun it up on the wood lathe and used the Dremel tool to narrow the shaft down until it just did fit. And then I had to do the same thing with this side piece here because it wanted to catch against the case. I got that taken care of so that it doesn't do it anymore. Now, the only part I've got left to do is to shorten this shaft right here. See how it comes all the way out and touches this shaft? It shouldn't come that way. Go back and look at the picture again. And see how it's much shorter than this? It shouldn't come out but just a little bit. And that will allow it, when it's rotating around, when you push the button, it's supposed to come out and sit down on top up here. And then as you rotate it, that pin's going to drop down into this slot. And when that happens, it pushes the pin back out and you've got the drive pin back out. So that's the way this works. And once I get that ground down a little more, you'll be able to see it function. And I'll have to polish the end of it to make sure that it doesn't gouge this aluminum. And I think, aside from cleaning up, this thing's about ready to go back together. All right, so what I've got to do, I've got to shorten this pin so that there's enough room between that pin and that post, or axle shaft, to allow that pin to drop into that groove right there. Okay, so it cannot be up against the axle shaft because it'll never fall. So it's got to come out enough to drop into that groove. Okay, so what I'm thinking about doing is going ahead and making the pin so it just slightly fits in here, maybe a little less. And what we'll do, I'll show you, we're going to take this pin out, and the way to do that is push it forward, grab a hold of it, and then lift it out like so. All right, now I'm going to crush the end of this spring down just a little bit more. I don't want it to slide up onto the shoulder of this. There we go. That should be enough so that when that slides on there, yeah, it can't go up onto there any further than that. That's good. All right. Now, if you look, I didn't do the greatest job of grinding this down. It's because I had to use a Dremel tool to do this. Okay, and I don't have a metal lathe. So all the work that was done on here was putting this into the wood lathe, chucking it up into my 4-jaw chuck, and then running my Dremel tool with a grinding wheel to grind it down. So yeah, I'm not overly fond of the way that I might go back out and try to put a little more of a shoulder on that. Tell you what, let's go do that. All right, I spent a little bit more time and cleaned that up a little better. Got to put on a new grinding wheel, and that gave it pretty much mostly an active shoulder on there, so that this could fit in there and actually hold now. That's good, so it can't slide past that. All right, but now what we've got to do is we've got to make this pin so that it isn't any longer coming through than that right there. But the whole thing doesn't come through anyway. It has to go through that hole. So I got to try to figure out, I am not a machinist. I am a mechanic, but not a machinist. And I got to figure out, okay, I'm going to figure out a way to mark that. Okay, I'm going to do that. That's about where the pin's going to sit most of the time. So what I'm going to do is mark a little of it on the end here, like that. And I think I'm going to remove just a little over half of that marked area and round it off and see if that will take care of the fit for the pin. Once I have it to the length it needs to be, then I can worry about adjusting it or polishing the end of it. Okay. So, get this put into the hole. Okay, grab hold of it, line it up with that hole, and now that looks a lot more like what we're supposed to be seeing. So let's go ahead, screw this on, and let's see if, there we go. There we go, it locks down like it should. When it pops back up, the pin goes in. Okay, when it rotates around, it drops in. Let's see, it's supposed to go this way. There we go. There it is. Okay, let's try it one more time. Rotate it around, drops in, there you go. All right, we have a repaired spinner head, but I do want to polish the end of it ever so slightly so that it's not gouging in here. Okay, so don't let the spring shoot off. All right, now I have a work sharp that is perfect for this kind of thing. Okay, that's got the end of it polished up. And I think we're about ready to clean all these parts and start assembling. And we should have an operational Langley Lynx fishing reel, 995. Come on, get it in there. Once you get it in, grab hold of the end, line it up with the hole. There we go. Okay, it's polished. All right, we'll be back in a minute. All the parts will be clean and we'll start assembly. For you guys, it's just been a few seconds. For me, it has been basically overnight, and the parts have gotten cleaned. But in the process of cleaning, I discovered something. This spool on this is supposed to come off, and I didn't know how to get it off because it wouldn't budge, it wouldn't make any motions, you couldn't turn it one way or the other. I finally decided to get a little aggressive with it, and I put my strap wrench on it, and after about 10 really good pulls on it, it finally decided to start budging, and I finally got it off, and basically it was just old dried up grease was all that was holding it on. Okay, and now that I've cleaned up the shaft and cleaned up the inside of the bushing, it slides nice and easy now. However, what I did determine during all this was, you remember everything we took to get this piece off. Well, it goes in here like so. It slides up through those holes, and then it goes through these holes like that. Now, its purpose in life is it's supposed to move this spool up and down, up and down. Well, it can't do that. There's no way, it's not attached to the spool. Okay, and so I contacted Jim Jones, who happens to have two of these, not this color, and contacted him to see. It looked to me as though I was missing something, and I was right, I was missing something. And here's a picture of what this is supposed to look like. Now, what I did is I had to come up with a way, since I decided it was going to be a little too difficult to manufacture that part, I started coming up with a way that I could secure this spool to this oscillator, and I came up with this clip idea. I made a spring clip, and it actually works. It does. You can hook it on here, and where'd my little pliers go? There they are. You can hook it on here and hook it down here like so. Hook it again like so. Oh, come loose on the other side. All right, and that locks it into place. Okay, but I'm afraid that the only thing holding this is just the tension of the spring action of the spring wire. So I decided I was going to come up with something a little better than that. And I am going to include, by the way, this reel is going to Jim Jones. I'm giving it to him for all his wonderful help with getting this reel going. And so I'm going to send it to him. But anyway, I'm going to include this clip in case he ever decides to use it. But once we get to this point where we're ready to assemble this, I've got a different technique that I'm going to use to put it on. But I wanted you guys to see what I had to come up with to try to make this work. All right, so let's take this back off. That's going to be one of the last pieces. All right, and I think we are about ready to start trying to assemble this. So the first part we're going to want is going to be the crankshaft here. I'm going to blow this back out just a little bit, like so. And we're going to put this drag washer on the crankshaft right there, like so. And then it's going to come the main gear. All right, remember that slid into there like so. Okay, that's up against the drag washer. And the only way that's going to lock is when we tighten this down, and that will lock those two together. Okay, on the back side of that now is going to go this drag washer. And let's see where we got to take it from there. Oh, the next part is going to be this anti-reverse lever. It goes on like so, like that. And then inside this is where this is going to fit in, and it will come down and it will lock into place there. Okay, remember we took this sleeve out? Well, we'll put it in after we've put this together. Okay, so we've got those together, and we're going to slide all this back in. No lube yet. We're not ready to lubricate anything. Matter of fact, I'm going to slightly pull this out a little bit and set it up like so in order to get that main gear to go down where it needs to be, like that. And then it will all drop into place like so. All right, so we've got it up to that point. what needs to happen next is we need to reinstall this oscillator. Now this gets a little bit trickier because remember it had to go in. Remember how much effort was required to get this to pop out. And we got to get it to go past the main gear like so. Okay, and then we have to get it, the main gear, to get up and around that post. Okay, while everything is out and moving about. And this is by far the hardest part of this. Let's see. This will do it well up here. Okay, this has us up further than it normally comes. And we've got to get that to slip back in there. And it takes a little bit of maneuvering to get it to go where you want it. But you got to basically get it in between those two. And it's kind of like that puzzle at the, you know, where you're trying to hook the nails together. It's kind of like that. Okay. Set that over that way. And put the handle on. So I've got an easy way to turn this. Okay, that should hold it in position. While I maneuver this up and out. Well, it sure came out a lot easier than it's going back in, I can tell you that. It's almost back right there. Right there. There. Okay. You don't want to bend anything, but it does take a little effort to get it to go where it needs to be. All right. Now, with all that in place, now it's time to start with our lubrication. So, we are going to oil the inside of this. And we're going to oil the outside of this. We're going to put some in here. Make sure that's all oiled good. And the reason I'm using oil instead of grease is I think this reel is going to be sitting for a while. And I don't want the greases to dry up in it like they did this last time. Okay. All right, that took care of that. I believe the next part we're looking at will be this piece. And this piece, which goes in here like so. And then goes our handle. And then goes the drag knob. Okay, that bushing is not fit down inside of the anti-reverse gear like it should. It's still got to get hooked up in there. There it goes. There, now it's in place. Then we can set those back into place. Okay, there goes all the play gone. All right, now we've got that. Okay, now we are back to where we want to put this spool back on, and now it sits down in here like that. Now you saw the clip. I used the clip earlier, but I'm not going to use that this time. And what we want to do is we're going to, again, oil, because I don't want this thing to ever freeze up again like it was with the grease. And since it's most likely just going to be a shelf sitter, that's probably what would happen long term to this. Okay, there we go. Now, you saw the clip. I showed you how I installed that clip. Well, this time that clip's going to go to Jim, but I'm not going to use the clip this time. I'm going to revert back to my Air Force days, aircraft maintenance. And we are going to install safety wire onto this. Okay. And some of you might be saying, well, what in the world is safety wire? Well, safety wire is a tool that is used. It's a wire. It is stainless steel, but it's not spring steel. It is just stainless steel wire that is used to secure hardware so that it can't back off. And we are going to use it to secure this into place so that it cannot pop off. And now it's not going to have the tension that normally would go with a spring. It's going to have the tension of having the wire twisted around, locking it into place. Baling wire works much the same way. Okay, but we got to get, we have to get it all positioned correctly. Now, that clip most likely would have held this, but I don't believe that it would have held it as well as this is going to. Okay, bring that down until that wire is in the groove, like so. Okay, now that it's in place, this isn't something you normally do with safety wire, but it will work well for this. I'm going to bend the safety wire in so that it fits around each of the posts to help lock them in place. I'm trying to do all of this where you can see what I'm doing. Okay. And now with that done, we're going to cut off the excess wire, like so. And we're going to twist that down and over so that it can't catch a finger if somebody's in here working on it in the future. There we go. And that is taking the place of this part. Okay, and I think that's going to work out just fine. I think I might need to flatten this out just a hair so that it can't catch on anything. I don't believe it will. I think this everything inside here is going to sit up high enough. Yeah, it's not going to touch anything. All right. Okay, so the pin has been made. A replacement for the clip has been made. And we're getting very close to getting this thing back together. All right, now, I don't know if you guys remember, but when I took out the button here, it snagged on the spring. It crushed it. It pushed the spring actually through the hole. So I manufactured a new spring. Here it is. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. And that spring is going to go into, this is going to be a little tricky to show, but this hook end up of it here is going to go into this forward hole, which is where the original spring went to. Okay, goes up and into that forward hole. Problem is hanging on to it. All right, now if you look, you're gonna have to look carefully. There, I've got the spring hooked over the edge. Let's see if I can get enough light in here for you to see it. All right, I've got the spring hooked over the edge, the pin in. Now all we've got to do is get this, and the anti-reverse is over where it's going to engage with the anti-reverse cloth. Now, while holding all that in position, I've got to get this button in and then slide the pin in. There we go. There's the pin. Bring it up. Put it in the hole. There we go. Like so. And now that spring not only activates that anti-reverse arm or dog, but it also holds the pin in. So it's a dual action. Okay. That done, now we've got to get this piece. I have to clean it. Hang on. There we go. Okay. Now, let's go ahead. I'm going to set the gear in first. And it really looks like it's been rubbing this direction. So let's go ahead and put it in there that direction. washer in on top of that. Like so. Then we have to get everything to, yeah, there we go. And this almost looks like the washer's supposed to stay up above that rail. Well, let's try that and see what happens. Okay. All right, we're going to get that down there. And now we're going to reinstall, hopefully. This tiny little C-clip. Oh no, I lost it. It popped off. And it's gone. It ain't coming back. It just so happens, just for that reason, I keep a tiny little supply of clips. Push the spring down until we can get a good hold on it. There we go. Now let's see if that's operating properly. I don't think so. I think it's hitting right there. There we go. Almost. What's happening is it's backing off just a hair too much, and what I'm going to end up having to do is put a tiny little washer in here. Right here to keep that from going in that far. Because it slowly but surely got to where it would go all the way in. Okay, so let's see. First off, let's see if I got a tiny little washer over here. This one here is a little bit smaller. Let's give it a try. Okay, let's try it again. All right. I think we finally have victory. All right. loosen and tighten the drag. All right, I don't have any line to put on it, so I can't necessarily verify that the drag is working. But what I can do is unscrew it here and hold on to this and turn the handle, and yes, the drag is working. Okay. I'm having a little trouble getting the cover to go on straight. There we go. All right, there we go. The Langley Lynx 995, and it did take some butchered up repairs to get it up and functional again, and it could go out fishing this way. I'm also going to include, going to Jim, this clip that I made. It can go on there. If he doesn't like the safety wire, he can, or if he ever has to cut the safety wire off to take it apart, he can put that clip on. It works the same way, and it will accomplish the same thing. It's just long term, I don't think the spring action was the best way to do that. I figured the safety wire is going to lock it in place so it can't come off. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Tell me what you didn't like about it. For now, that's Rick Stivers with the YoungMartin'sReels, signing out.